Hey Sabrina, how's it going?
Hey, Kira, it's good.
Good. I'm really excited about your talk for Fresh Voices. It's Saturday, I believe it's December 5th on Saturday. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and your practice? Yeah.
Sure. So I practice evolutionary astrology. I started studying that in 2012 after being into astrology since I was a kid. And part of, I guess, what connects to the workshop is that I've been writing weekly forecasts every week for like I'm on my sixth year and I've only missed 2 weeks ever. So I just kind
Oh
of
my
have this
God.
emotional, yeah, it's like I've definitely learned how to just like stay like in touch with the practice no matter what else is happening. So there's a kind of, I think I've really focused a lot on like having like a loving relationship with all the archetypes. So working through maybe like biases or, oh, I don't like this sign for whatever reason, and like getting deeper into it. Um, and that's kind of like the evolutionary astrology world in a sense too, is like getting to the bottom line. It's Pluto and lunar node focused astrology. So there's a lot of emphasis on like our soul's desire for being here and like our deepest truth and just things that really are like soulful and investigative. So I've been doing client sessions for years, and I also started teaching 3 years ago. I teach an evolutionary astrology intensive. Um, and yeah, I guess that's how I would describe my practice right now.
Awesome. Yeah. And then you also have your amazing podcast as well, Magic of the
Magic.
Spheres.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us more about this awesome workshop on Saturday.
So I wanted to just share some ideas about how to do astrological writing because I don't think I've ever read or absorbed any content about how to write about astrology.
Hmm.
There's a lot of information out there about how to learn astrology, even how to do counseling astrology, and then you can learn about creative writing. But I've never seen like the two come together. So I just wanted to approach like some of those intersections. Like, for example, one of the things I was thinking about was, I mean, how do you construct a forecast? Like, there is a little bit of a formula behind it. And like, I have one, or I have like a methodology that I've come up with that I'll stray from as I need to. But one of the things, for example, is I like to tune into what could be challenging or difficult about a transit. So, like, what's the difficulty? What are people going to be stressed out about? Like, what are the problems? And also, I like to tune into the magic, the opportunity, the portals that are opening up
Hmm.
through the transits. And I feel like that basic kind of formula sets up a multivalence where you can tune into the challenges and the opportunities, and that can create a really balanced horoscope or forecast. And I think that, tuning into some deeper questions around how do you want to angle the forecast? Like, I think that we learn some marketing techniques kind of just collectively, or we like absorb them through osmosis, that it's all about marketing to people's problems and offering a solution. So when is that appropriate in astrology, and when is that like tired and like not something I'd recommend?
Hmm.
So it's this interesting balance of keeping it real and talking about like what's challenging, so you're not just like floating off in the clouds somewhere, but also um, not staying in those like challenging parts of the transits without building a bridge out. So I think
Hmm.
like that's one of the things I want to address. Um, what else?
That alone sounds
What's my
like
train of thought?
so valuable. Like, I feel like, yeah, I mean, you're right. There's not a lot of content out there about how to even write forecasts. And it's such a big part of what, the astrology world is and what so many people do to make a living or to like, to build a following. So yeah, I think this is going to be so valuable for so many young astros and even old astros, even like practicing astrologers, I think can get a lot out of this. I know I'm going to be getting a lot out of it. So Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, another thing that I'm adding into the talk is kind of like how to build a relationship with your audience through your writing.
Mm.
And this is something I've thought about, where there's a lot that can come through in voice, like in writing, where you can be writing to your audience like they're helpless and they need you, and like set up a whole codependent model where it's like, life is hard, but I have the answers. Come here, and just
Yeah.
like, it's tacky, and just thinking about like how to write to an audience as though they're empowered, or like thinking about, who your audience is. And I think that there's different, strategies in marketing, again, about like, do you write to a target audience, or do you have this message that comes through your soul and you don't even know who your audience is? So I just want to talk a little bit about like the conversation that's happening between the writing and who's showing up to read it, because I think that people also, like astrologers, will have this concern that, what if my my ideas get people in trouble, or I say the wrong thing and someone takes my advice and it goes terribly wrong. And it's like, how do
Mhm.
you write to an audience and encourage them to, like, what are you trying to impart, but how do you also trust in their agency and autonomy, and kind of speak in such a way that attracts that kind of audience?
Amazing. Wow. Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this and you somehow don't think this workshop is going to be amazing, I don't really know. Definitely sign up. Again, I think we're doing it at noon, right? Noon Pacific on Saturday, December 5th. $25 until Friday night. So a huge bargain. I mean, again, this is really amazing information that Sabrina's going to be sharing. So, um, definitely tune in. If you can't make it live, that's totally okay. You get the recording pretty much within like hours after the workshop. So yeah, check us out. Sabrina, thank you so much. I'm just really excited for this weekend.
Thanks, Kira. I am too.